Be me, 31F, HR Director for Transico, a mid-sized logistics software company. I consider myself a revolutionary. Landed this gig 2 years ago because the CEO, Matt 55M, is the definition of a soft target. Matt is terrified of Twitter mobs. During my interview, I dropped words like systemic inequity, unconscious bias, and intersectional leadership. Saw the panic in his eyes. He offered me $145K base, plus equity, just to make sure he never gets cancelled. My official mandate: modernize the company culture and improve retention for underrepresented groups. The office is a nightmare of legacy culture, open floor plan, rows of desks filled with men in hoodies. The engineering pit smells like stale coffee and ozone. Sales team is even worse. A corner of the office dominated by guys named Chad and Brad, who high-five over closing deals and talk about fantasy football. It's suffocating. I have my own sanctuary, though. Corner office, glass walls, standing desk, huge Monstera plant I named Ruth, after RBG. Start every morning with a matcha and a 15-minute meditation on my Headspace app. I am the moral compass of this ship. October rolls around, performance review season, aka my favorite time of year. This is where the rubber meets the road. We have 3 openings for senior project lead positions. These are high visibility roles, managing teams, client-facing, big salary bumps. Traditionally, Matt lets the VP of engineering just pick the guys with the best code metrics. Not this year. I convinced Matt to implement my new holistic leadership framework. Basically, technical skills are weighted at 40% and cultural impact/soft skills are weighted at 60%. I hold the pen on the 60%. Absolute power. First candidate, Mark, 34M, senior backend dev, been here 6 years. He's the guy everyone goes to when things break. Tall, quiet, stoic type, intimidatingly competent. I pull up his file. His code commits are in the top 1% of the company. Client satisfaction is 100% on his projects. Matt loves him, but I know his type. He doesn't engage in Slack banter. He doesn't come to the feel-good Friday smoothie hours I organize. He just works. I call him into my office for the interview. He walks in, nods, sits down, slouches slightly, man spreading. Strike one. Mark, I say, giving him my practiced, warm but firm HR smile. Thanks for coming in. Let's talk about your leadership style. Sure, he says, deep voice, monotone. I noticed in the Q3 retro meeting you shut down a junior developer's idea about rewriting the API in Rust. Can you walk me through that? He blinks, looking confused. The junior dev, Jason, wanted to rewrite a legacy codebase 2 weeks before a deadline. It would have introduced instability. I told him we didn't have the bandwidth. Right, I nod, writing in my notebook. But do you think you validated his creativity before shutting him down? I validated the deadline, Mark says. My job is to ship stable code. Arrogance. Pure, unfiltered arrogance. Mark, a senior lead needs to nurture talent. If Jason feels unheard, he won't innovate. We need leaders who prioritize psychological safety over rigid deadlines. Mark looks at me like I'm speaking Aramaic. If we miss the deadline, the client fires us. That doesn't feel very safe for anyone's job. Sarcasm. Strike 2. I decide right then he's not getting it. I wrap up the interview. Thanks, Mark. We'll be in touch. I write in his file. Candidate demonstrates rigid thinking patterns and a lack of emotional intelligence. Propensity for gatekeeping. Not a culture fit. Second candidate, Trevor, 29M, top sales executive, crushes his quota every quarter. Loud, charismatic, wears Patagonia vests, the kind of guy who calls everyone brother or chief. I despise him. He comes into my office holding a Starbucks cup. Hey, HR, how's life? He beams, sitting down without asking. Energy is way too high, dominating the space. Hello, Trevor. Please, sit. So, are we doing this? I'm pumped. Got some big ideas for the West Coast expansion. That's great, Trevor, but I want to talk about team cohesion. I noticed you took the junior sales reps out for drinks last Friday. Yeah, team building. We hit the pub, had some wings. Good times. Did you invite everyone? I sent a message to the group chat. Whoever wanted to come came. But you know that Caroline doesn't drink, and Kevin has social anxiety. By centering the event around alcohol, you created an exclusionary environment. Trevor's smile falters. It was just a happy hour. We do it once a month. Exclusion is exclusion, Trevor. A senior lead needs to create inclusive rituals. Maybe a pottery class or a virtual escape room? Trevor laughs. He actually laughs. Pottery? With the sales guys? Come on. We blow off steam. Dismissive of inclusive alternatives, deserves a strike. I write. Promotes toxic boys club atmosphere. Resists inclusive restructuring. High risk for creating a hostile work environment. Third candidate. Brian, 46M, systems architect. The old guard. Been here since the startup days. Has 3 kids, drives a minivan, strictly 9 to 5. I ask him why he hasn't joined any of the employee resource groups, ERGs. I have to pick up my kids from soccer, ma'am. It's mostly during lunch, Brian. I work through lunch so I can leave at 5. Don't you think visibility is important? Shows you're invested in the community? I'm invested in the servers staying up. Another dinosaur, no passion for the mission. Just the work, I write. Lacks engagement, clock puncher mentality. Not visionary material. The decision meeting with Matt, I present my slate. Matt looks at the list of rejections. Wait, you're cutting Mark and Trevor? They're our best performers, I sigh, putting a hand on his shoulder. Matt, look at the turnover in the industry. People leave because of culture. If we promote these men, we are signaling that we value aggression over empathy, that we value code over people. I pull up a slide with a bunch of buzzwords. Psychological safety, equity, holistic growth. I have identified 3 candidates who actually embody the future of Transico. I present the new slate. Ruby, 26F, junior dev. Very bubbly. Always compliments my shoes. Kevin, 24M, non-binary, they, them. High emotional resonance. Very active on Twitter. Caroline, 28F. My friend from my yoga studio. I hired her 6 months ago as a scrum master. She has no technical background, but she's great at facilitating dialogue. Matt looks nervous. Ruby? She caused that outage on the staging server last month. She was learning, Matt, and Mark was so harsh with her. She needs a position of authority to build her confidence. It's about potential, not just history. And Kevin, he's very fragile. He's sensitive, Matt. That's a superpower in the 21st century. Matt rubs his temples. Okay, I trust you. You're the expert on this stuff. Just make sure the work gets done. It will get done better than ever, I promise. Because the team will feel seen. The announcement. Monday morning all hands meeting. I take the mic. I'm glowing. I am thrilled to announce our new senior project leads. Please join me in congratulating Ruby, Kevin, and Caroline. I clap. Ruby squeals. Kevin looks teary-eyed. Caroline waves. I look at the engineering section, waiting for the reaction. Mark is looking at his phone. Brian is typing on his laptop. Trevor is staring at the wall. No applause from the men. Just silence. Dead, heavy silence. It feels awkward, but I push through. This marks a new chapter for Transico. A chapter of inclusivity. Meeting ends. I wait for the blowback. I'm ready for Mark to storm into my office. I have my fragility speech prepared. I have the disciplinary forms ready for insubordination. But nothing happens. Mark goes back to his desk, puts on his noise-cancelling headphones, starts coding. Trevor picks up his phone, makes a sales call. Brian goes to the server room. Weird. Usually when you pass over entitled men, they throw a tantrum. This is anticlimactic. I walk past Mark's desk later. Hey Mark, I know that news was probably tough. My door is open if you want to debrief. He spins his chair around. Face is completely blank. Eyes dead. No need. Congratulations to the new leads. I'm sure they'll do great. Voice is flat, robotic. Okay, well, I appreciate your professionalism. Just doing my job, ma'am. Ma'am? He never calls me ma'am. It feels weirdly aggressive, but technically polite. I walk away feeling unsettled. Whatever. They're just sulking. They'll get over it, or they'll quit. Either way, I win. The new culture era, month 1. The atmosphere in the office shifts. It used to be loud, chaotic, energetic, guys shouting across desks, drawing diagrams on whiteboards, arguing about Star Wars. Now, library silence. Everyone is polite. Painfully polite. I walk into the break room. Trevor and 2 other sales guys are there. They stop talking immediately when I enter. Good morning, ma'am, Trevor says. Trevor, You can call me Jennifer or Jen. Professional boundaries are important, he says with a stiff smile. We want to ensure a respectful workplace. He pours his coffee and leaves. I feel like I'm haunting the office. I try to organize a spirit week, pajama day, crazy hat day. I send out enthusiastic emails with lots of emojis. Day comes. Ruby, Kevin, and Caroline are dressed up. Ruby is in a unicorn onesie. Kevin is wearing a fedora. The rest of the office? Suits. Mark is wearing a button-down shirt. Brian is wearing a tie. Trevor is in a full three-piece suit. I confront Mark. Mark, surely you saw the email about pajama day. It's about building morale. I did see it. However, I reviewed my employment contract and the dress code policy. It states business casual or professional. I didn't want to risk violating the code by wearing sleepwear to a place of business. It's a fun day, Mark. I authorized it. I understand, but I prefer to maintain a professional standard. I wouldn't want to make anyone uncomfortable with inappropriate attire. He turns back to his screen. He's using my own language against me. Weaponized compliance. I can't write him up for dressing too professionally. It's infuriating. Month 2. Ruby is struggling. She's supposed to be leading the API integration for a major retailer. She doesn't understand the legacy code. She tries to schedule brainstorming sessions with the team. I sit in on one to support her. Ruby, okay guys, let's blue sky this. How do we feel about the data flow? Silence. Mark sits there with a notepad. Ruby, Mark, you built the original structure. Ideas? Mark, I'm here to execute the tasks assigned by the senior lead. I don't want to overstep my bounds and stifle your leadership. Ruby, but I need your help. Mark, if you assign me a specific ticket with defined parameters, I will code it immediately. But architectural decisions are the purview of the senior lead. I'm just an individual contributor. Ruby looks panic-stricken. But what do you think we should do? I think I should wait for instructions, Mark says calmly. Ruby ends the meeting early, clearly flustered. She comes to my office crying. He's icing me out. He won't help. Is he refusing work? No, he does exactly what I tell him, but he won't tell me what to tell him. He's gaslighting you, I say, nodding. He's hoarding knowledge. It's a power play. I call Mark in. Mark, collaboration is a KPI. You need to support Ruby. I am supporting her. I execute every ticket she assigns within the hour. My code is bug-free. Are you asking me to do her job for her? I'm asking you to be a team player. I am. I am playing the position I was assigned. You made it clear during my review that my leadership style was not a fit, so I have stepped back from leadership duties to respect the new hierarchy. He looks me right in the eyes. Is there anything else, ma'am? I have nothing. He's right. I told him he wasn't a leader, so he stopped leading. The incident. Month 3. Kevin, the sensitive lead, is managing the server migration. He's stressed out. He posts in the Slack channel. Hey guys, feeling overwhelmed today. Sending good vibes to the servers. Mark replies. Received. Brian replies. Noted. Kevin pushes a config change to production at 4 p.m. on a Friday. Bad idea. Mark usually catches these things. Mark sees the commit notification. I check the logs later. Mark sees it. Pauses for 30 seconds, then closes the window. The update goes live. Everything crashes. The entire logistics platform for 200 trucks goes dark. Phones start ringing off the hook. Matt runs out of his office. What is happening? Why is the dashboard red? Kevin is hyperventilating in the corner. I don't know. It worked in the test environment. Matt turns to Mark. Mark, fix it. Mark looks at the clock. It's 5:01 p.m. I'm sorry, Matt. My shift has ended. I have to maintain a healthy work-life balance to avoid burnout. That was feedback from my last review. Matt's jaw drops. The company is burning. Fix the damn code. I can stay, Mark says slowly, but I will need overtime authorization in writing, signed by my direct manager, Kevin. Kevin is currently sobbing into his hands. Kevin, Matt screams, sign the paper. Kevin is non-responsive. Mark sits there, hands folded, waiting. It takes 15 minutes for Matt to print a form, sign it himself, overriding Kevin, and hand it to Mark. Mark puts on his headphones, types for 45 seconds. Fixed. Rolling back to previous stable version. System recovering. Matt collapses into a chair. Why didn't you stop him from pushing that update? Matt asks Mark. I am not the lead, Mark says. Kevin has a vision. I didn't want to be a gatekeeper. Matt looks at me, eyes full of accusation. I step in. This is a learning opportunity. Kevin will learn from this. Mark could have been more proactive, sure, but we can't rely on heroics. We need process. Matt doesn't say anything. He just walks away. I feel a knot in my stomach. The documentation war. I realize the men are organized. This isn't random. They are coordinating this work to rule strike. I need to fire them. I need cause. I spend the next week going through everything. Slack logs, emails, Git comments. I'm looking for one slip-up, one sexist joke, one bitch, anything I can take to HR, which is me. I read through thousands of messages. It's boring as hell. Mark to Trevor. Ticket 405 requires sales input regarding client specs. Trevor to Mark. Attached is the PDF. Please confirm receipt. Mark. Confirmed. Timeline is 3 days. Trevor. Thank you. Have a productive afternoon. It's sterile. It's robotic. It's legally bulletproof. They have stripped all personality from their interactions. I start checking timestamps. Are they late? No. They clock in at 8:59 a.m. and clock out at 5 p.m. Are they stealing office supplies? No. I get desperate. I set up a mandatory fun event, karaoke night, attendance required for team bonding. I figure, get them to a bar, get some drinks in them. Someone will slip up. The night comes. We rent out a private room. Ruby, Kevin, Caroline and I are singing Taylor Swift. The men are sitting at a table in the back, drinking water, checking their watches. I go over to them with a pitcher of beer. Come on, boys, loosen up. First round is on the company. Trevor looks at the pitcher. No thank you, ma'am. We have early starts tomorrow. Alcohol impairs cognitive function and sleep quality. Oh my God, don't be such squares. Just one drink. Brian pulls out a notebook, starts writing. What are you doing? I ask. Documenting that management is pressuring subordinates to consume alcohol after hours. Just for the record, I freeze. I'm not pressuring. It's a party. It feels like pressure, Mark says quietly. I feel uncomfortable. They are using my words, my specific HR vocabulary. I back away. I leave the pitcher. They don't touch it. I go back to singing Shake It Off, but my voice shakes. They are hunting me. The board meeting. Month 6. This is D-Day. Our numbers are trash. We lost 2 major accounts because Caroline forgot to schedule renewal meetings. Development velocity is down 60% because Ruby and Kevin can't approve code fast enough. But I have a plan. I have prepared a 50-page deck on cultural transformation ROI. I'm going to dazzle the investors with our inclusion index and our diversity hiring stats. I'm wearing my power suit. Meeting starts. Board members are there. Sterling, lead investor, 60s, scary guy, money personified. 2 others. Matt is sweating through his shirt. I stand up to present. Good morning. While revenue has faced headwinds due to legacy technical debt, our cultural metrics are skyrocketing. We have achieved gender parity in leadership. I point to the graph. Sterling doesn't look at the graph. He looks at me. We lost the FedEx contract, Sterling says. Why? Well, that was a misalignment of expectations. The client was difficult. Very traditional mindset. Not a culture fit for us. FedEx isn't a culture fit? Sterling raises an eyebrow. We are pivoting to partners who share our values, I say confidently. Sterling looks at Matt. Matt, why are we bleeding cash? Matt opens his mouth. The door opens. It's Mark. He's wearing a suit, not a casual suit, a tailored, business suit. He's carrying a box. My heart stops. Excuse me, I say, stepping forward. This is a closed session for executives only. Mark walks right past me, doesn't even acknowledge my existence. He puts the box on the table. Trevor walks in behind him. Brian walks in behind Trevor. It's a coup. Gentlemen, Mark says to the board, I apologize for the interruption, but as shareholders, you are entitled to the full data set regarding the company's performance. Security, I yell. Matt, call security. Sterling holds up a hand. Let him speak. Mark opens the box. He hands a thick, bound dossier to each board member. Title, Operational Impact of HR Policy 2025. What is this? Sterling asks. Mark stands tall. He looks like a CEO. This is a comprehensive audit of all project failures, code delays, and client churn over the last 6 months, cross-referenced with the specific HR decisions that caused them. I feel faint. This is unauthorized data access. I screech. It's public record within the company Git logs and CRM, Trevor says smoothly. We just visualized it. Sterling flips through the pages. Page 12, Mark says. The server outage, caused by an unqualified senior lead pushing code against protocol. Cost $45,000 in SLA penalties. Page 24, Trevor adds. The FedEx account, lost because the new sales lead refused to attend the client dinner because it was at a steakhouse and she is vegan. Sterling's face turns red. I try to intervene. These are cherry-picked. You're ignoring the morale improvements. Mark pulls out a USB drive. We also have the audio, he says. The room goes silent. Audio? I whisper. Washington is a one-party consent state, Mark says, his voice cold. We have recorded every performance review, every disciplinary meeting, and every informal coaching session for the last 6 months. He plugs it into the conference phone. He plays a file. It's my voice, clear as day. Mark, I don't care about the metrics. Your competence is intimidating to the female staff. It's a form of aggression. We need to center feelings, not facts. Sterling looks up. His eyes are like lasers. Did you say that? I was speaking theoretically. Another clip plays. Matt is such a coward. I can wrap him around my finger. As long as I say diversity, he signs whatever I want. I'm basically running this company. Matt makes a noise like a wounded animal. Mark stops the recording. We have 40 hours of this, Mark says. Proof of systematic discrimination against high-performing employees based on gender, and proof of manipulation of the CEO. Sterling closes the dossier. He looks at Matt. You let this happen. Then he looks at me. I have never felt so small. Get out, Sterling says. But I have a contract. If you don't leave this building in 5 minutes, Sterling says, I will leak these tapes to every tech blog in the country. You will never work in this industry again. I look at Matt. He won't meet my eyes. I look at Mark. He's not smiling. He's not gloating. He's just efficient. He removed a bug. I am the bug. I run to my office, grab my purse. I try to lift the Monstera plant, but I'm shaking too hard. I leave Ruth behind. I walk out into the open office. Everyone knows. News travels fast. The silence is different now. It's not fearful silence. It's the silence of respect for the new order. I walk past the sales pit. Trevor is on the phone. Yes, we can absolutely make that happen. The team is fully operational. He looks up as I pass, winks. Just once. I walk past the engineering pit. Mark is standing at a whiteboard with Ruby and Kevin. He is drawing a diagram. He is teaching them. See the load balancer needs to handle the traffic before the API call. Ruby is nodding, taking notes. Kevin looks relieved. They are working. They are solving problems, and I am gone. I get to the elevator. I press the button. I look back one last time. Nobody is looking at me. Doors close. 8 months later, living in a studio apartment. Sold my car. Matt was fired by the board a week after I left. Mark was named interim CEO, then permanent CEO. Stock prices tripled. I check their LinkedIn page sometimes from an alt account. They posted a picture of the new company values, competence, accountability, results. No mention of spirit or feelings. I'm sitting in a coffee shop applying for freelance sensitivity reader jobs. Pay is $15 an hour. My latte is cold. I see a guy in a hoodie typing on a laptop nearby. He looks like Mark. PTSD kicks in. I pack up my stuff and leave. I guess I finally found a culture where I fit. Unemployed.